She's a cute girl, cute next to gorgeous. Gorgeous is gonna, devour cute. So, in the looks department, I definitely, I've scored too high for her to catch up. I didn't like it, It hurt that he was paying a lot of attention to Goldie.
What is going on, everybody? How are you doing today? Welcome back for episode 2 of our Flavor of Love recap, rewatch, review, resurgence, everything you can think about. Y'all, I have been enjoying rewatching this show so much. I cannot even begin to tell you. So last week we were introduced to the 20 women who are vying for Flav's love and attention. They are vying for his heart. They're here because they know that they are the woman that Flav needs. They know it. They absolutely know that they are the one that he needs. However, 5 of those women got their feelings hurt. So last week we said goodbye to Bubbles, Shells, Smokey, Picasso, and Cherry. I'm gonna miss Picasso. Of all 5 of the women that left last week, I am actually going to miss Picasso because she seemed like she kind of didn't know what was going on, and I feel like she should have been there just so she had a place to be. Because my girl kind of seemed like she didn't know where she was going, and I just needed her to have a place to lay her head at the end of the day. So Picasso, they could bring back. She don't have to be part of the competition, but just bring her back. Let her be like, I know this ain't Housewives, but let her be like a friend of. Let her be like, she can be paired up with Goldie. Let her get paired up with Goldie. Goldie will take care of her. Put her with Rain. Okay, well, no, put her with Goldie. And we'll get into why in just a minute. So we start this episode off with a cute little recap. They tell us what happened in episode 1. And we wake up. Flav is letting us know that the women have free range, which I don't know why that tickles me so bad, but all I can keep thinking about is free range chicken, and I don't know why. But I think that's just kind of the pettiness in me that just keeps on thinking about free range chicken. But anyway, we see what all of the women are kind of up to. Some of them are playing tennis. Some of them are just sort of, gathering themselves and their mindsets. Beyonce is doing yoga as she should, because this is at the height of her up and coming career. She's Beyonce, but she's not Beyonce yet. So she still got to keep herself, ready for anything at any minute. Anyway, that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. I just wanted to let y'all know that Beyonce is, she's here and she's ready to go. So we find out. First off, I do want to go back to that, actually. And let me not lie. I do want to go back to that because I swear to God, it looked like it was her first time doing it. I feel like they told her, you got to do something interesting. And she said, okay, I'm going to do yoga. And then she just started doing something. That does not have anything to do with this episode, but I just wanted to set the scene for you to let you know that, baby, we are putting on a show. So now we kind of get a little, whatever. We're eliminating another 5 women today. So at the end of this episode, another 5 women are going home. I was like, God, dog, how many I don't know why, but for some reason I thought that he was just going to say that 5 of them are going home every single week. And I was thinking like, oh, okay, so we're just going to have like a 3 or 4 episode season. That was kind of what it was given a little bit, was we're going to have a 3 or 4 episode season. Don't get too invested because the show is going to be over lickety split before you know it. Anyway, y'all, the drama gets started. I mean, literally right off the bat. So the women are waking up and they're all talking about New York. And they're kind of talking about how fake she is. They're all just kind of talking about like, oh yeah, New York said this. And I don't know who it was. I can't remember to save my life. But one of them did a really good impression of New York. Because I think New York is putting on an act. I don't think she really talks like that. But for some reason, she has decided that this is the accent that she's going to take on. And you know what? I 100% live for it. I have no issues with it. 10 out of 10, no notes. But New York hears it. And she's like, I'm not going to wake up. I'm not going to wake up this early in the morning and be listening to them talk about me. Of course I'm going to confront them. Baby, when she said that, I said, yeah, my girl is absolutely about to cut up. Now, Georgia does not like New York. She thinks that New York is evil. She actually uses the word evil to describe Tiffany New York Pollard. And Miss Latin loves her though. Miss Latin is like, look, they just don't like New York because she's competition. And quiet as it's kept, I feel like it's a little bit of truth maybe somewhere in the middle. Because the thing is, like, I don't think New York is evil. I'm not gonna go that far. I think that New York knows what makes good TV, and I think that she has a naturally charismatic personality anyway. But I think she knows kind of how far to go. She knows what buttons to push and whatnot. Speaking of buttons to push, we are going to get to one of my favorite scenes. It is classic, it is iconic, and it is still a meme to this day. But before we can get to that, though, Miss Latin goes to call her ex boyfriend, which I just found to be very strange. I couldn't figure out why she was going to call. And she was like, yeah, we just broke up. And so it's kind of hard when it's still a fresh breakup. And all I could think was, like, why are you here? I'm not understanding fully why you're here. Because if y'all just broke up, it's given that you still want to be with him. But anyway, is all I'm going to say is anyway. And he doesn't answer the phone, of course. And so she's sitting there looking stressed. And I was like, girl, just leave. At this point, just go home because it don't even seem like you want to be here. But I'm hush. I'm going to just be quiet. Listen. We go to breakfast, right? And I don't remember that man's name, and they literally said it 5 times, and I forgot to write it down. So I'm gonna just call him Rick. I'm gonna call him Big Rick, because it is something like that. It is something like some. Anyway. So he brings them a little tray, and it has a letter from Flav, and basically he tells them that this week they're going to have 10 minutes each in a hot tub to really make an impression on him and to connect with him and bond one-on-one. And then his top 3 experiences, they're going to get to go on like this thrill-seeking, off-the-cuff experience with him. And then 5 women are going home. And I was just thinking, like, my God, imagine you just wake up, you in this mansion. I couldn't even imagine waking up in a mansion, number one, rented or not. And then you literally get up, you are enjoying yourself, you think you finna eat some good breakfast, and this man is like, yeah, 5 of y'all finna go. And you got to impress me in a hot tub. And the top 3 of y'all gonna be the most important ones this week. I don't know. It was something about it that was it just made me like laugh. It made me giggle. Listen, Flav tells us that he is doing this because on Strange Love, him and Brigitte had a very good connecting moment in a hot tub. And so he wants to be able he wants to see if he can connect with these women in a hot tub. And I said, there's no way. I know that this is a dating reality show. Every time something like that happens, everything I come back to is just always, there's no way. Every single thing that happens, I'm just like, there is no way. There's just you playing in my face. You gonna really sit here and tell me that you're doing this because this is what you did with another woman? Girl, Anyway, so we find that out, and I just looked at him and it was just like, Flav, shut up. Don't even say nothing. But this is the iconic, legendary scene where New York Tiffany Pollard, I know I should have said Tiffany New York Pollard, but I chose to say New York Tiffany Pollard, walks in and she goes, good morning. And she's literally pointing to people and saying, good morning. And then she says, not you, you can choke. And Rain is looking at her like, excuse. Now, I do want to say this before we really get into talking about Rain and kind of like what happens with her this episode. I fear that Rain has mental health issues. And I don't say that as a joke. I don't say it to be funny, to be like, yeah, I think she's got something wrong with her, screw loose. No, I'm saying that to say that I'm actually concerned, and I don't really find it funny, because it feels like we're poking a bear that is not all the way there. I don't know. It felt very exploitative. I feel like more so from the show's point of view than New York. I'm not taking any kind of accountability away from New York. I'm saying that she is a person who got into that house, didn't know these people, and she was just making TV. But as far as the actual producers, I do feel like they took advantage of her mental health issues that she may or may not have. She may just be a quick-tempered person, but there's just something that seems a bit off. So I want to say that so that when I talk about her, it doesn't seem like I'm coddling anything, or that it doesn't seem like I'm trying to excuse anything, or like I'm just not, or I'm trying to tiptoe around stuff. It's just, I don't know, something about it that doesn't feel right to me. But New York says that she wants to basically push Rain's button. She says she hasn't been around her, and so she just kind of wants to see what she's gonna do, and she wants to test her anger level. She said it works, and I was like, New York, what is your problem? What is your but this is why I think New York is like TV like royalty, because she is just chaotic, so extra. And I'm laughing at her, not at Rain. I'm actually laughing at New York, because it was like, what would even make you, because she said it and then she walked off. That's the thing. She said it, and then she stood there and she read Flav's note, and then she left, and that was it. She didn't stand there and poke and prod and try to see how much angrier she could make her. She said what she said, and then she walked off. And I said, oh, okay, well, she really was just trying to test that lady. So everybody starts getting ready. They're getting in their swimsuits and whatnot. And Pumpkin actually does her hair. It doesn't, I'm not going to say it looks good, but she does it. And I said, okay, well, at least we're trying, because that straw mess that she's been having, Jesus in heaven. But anyway, so the van ride there gets very hectic and chaotic. So I guess the producers were just petty, and they decided to put Goldie, Pumpkin, New York, Georgia, Rain, and somebody else in the same van. And baby, when I tell you, the fireworks just went off. The fireworks went all the way to the left. So, not Georgia, but Goldie was trying to ask New York, like, if Flav was butt naked or something like that. If you came in, he was butt naked, what would you do? New York was being so snotty, and she was just like, I would prefer not to talk, or whatever she said. And I was like, New York, come on now. But she's there to play a game. She's there to play a game. And so then Pumpkin gets mad and tells her, like, the way you respond, it comes off as you being a bitch. There's so many nice people here. And New York is like, yeah, but I don't want to get to know them. I don't want to take the chance. I don't want to take that opportunity to know them. And I was like, oh, okay, well, all right, Kim Fields. But then it's kind of like, I feel like I understand what New York is. Even though I feel like New York is playing it up for the camera, I understand where she's coming from. I don't need to make friends with y'all. I don't know y'all. But there are other people who have said that they feel like they could see themselves being friends with everyone there. But New York is like, that's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to make friends. I'm not here to have fun and kiki with y'all. I'm here to get my man. And Rain just goes off. Rain is like hollering, screaming, spitting. She's just not spitting like the way Pumpkin does later on, but just spitting, talking. You know how when people are talking and they just like just spit everywhere. And she is just, going off the rails, hollering. And then she tells New York, I could throw this drink in your face. And everybody's just like, girl, what is happening? Georgia don't know what's happening. Georgia's just sitting there with just as lost. Pumpkin don't know what's happening. You know, Goldie, my girl Goldie, she probably had checked out mentally, but she was also enjoying the mess. And it was like Rain literally stood up in the van. They had to get her back down because, she was going in on New York. She was cussing so hard that I know she was raised around old people, because I've only ever seen old people cuss like that. I've never seen someone like Rain's age cuss like that. That is somebody who was raised by old people. She was cussing hard. She said New York is in her bloodstream and that she needs her out of her bloodstream. Girl, what? When she said that, I said, in your bloodstream? You met this woman one time, that woman said something negative to you, and you just in your bloodstream. This scene was what made me feel like Rain probably has mental health issues. This, and then when she was crying when she first met Flav and was like, I've loved him since I met him, or since I first saw him. I think Rain got a lot going on. And my God, today, that the van ride, child, when I tell you, I was just sitting there holding my head. I was just like, there is no way that this could possibly be happening. But as God is my witness, it was. It was actually occurring. So, child, once we get to the hot tub place, Flav says that he wants to see their creativity, but of course he wants to see them in bikinis, which, I mean, clearly, let's be for real. But here was the funny thing. Like, I mean, when I say be for real, like, we knew that's what he was there for. Let's be serious here. But what did tickle me was the fact that I keep wanting to call that man Slick Rick, but that's not his name, but that's what I'm going to call him. So his bodyguard person, Slick Rick, is like, you got 10 minutes with each girl. And Flav goes, 10 minutes? What? And I was thinking, how do you not know that? Is it the first time they've told you that? I don't know why that was so funny to me, but the fact that he was acting like he genuinely had no idea what was going on, I was so tickled. But anyway, moving forward. Now, I will say that the hot tubs, because there's still a lot of them there, it moves very fast. Like, you don't even get to see a minute really with each one of them. It was so funny. I always say this is so funny. I'm sorry about that. So he goes to Pumpkin first. And her hair, at least, is still a little done. She looks like something, you know. She's got something called like bubbles with actions in them. And they can range from being playful to, being, a little grown, a little whatever. And she's kissing on him and whatever else. And then Big Slick Rick, he goes ahead and he blows the whistle. So then Flav has to go. And I was thinking, okay, but I have to remember that he only had like a couple of minutes with them on screen. Like, he had a very short period of time on screen, but that he actually had a very long time. 10 minutes is a long time, really, in real life when you're going with that many people. Red Oyster, baby, let me tell you something. All I wrote down for Red Oyster was fine as hell. When she brought out that whip, I said, I need to see what happened in that hot tub. Because that woman is so fine. It was just the way she looked and that dominatrix energy she had. And then when he was like, yeah, if anybody, I do the whipping, and she gave it over to him, I said, oh my god, baby, she knows how to play that game. I said, yes, ma'am. Red Oyster, that's my boo, that's my baby. Serious, I literally do not. I wrote down that I literally don't know her. I do not know her. I don't remember her. I remember pretty much everyone else except for her. Don't remember her, but she had a bottle of champagne, so there you go. Peaches had a guitar and she was singing him a song. She was singing him a tune. And I said, oh, okay. Well, hey, we all have to be creative. We all have to be different. And if that's what you want to do, then baby, you go ahead and you do that. Whatever makes you feel better. So Sweetie had a really nice booty. And so yeah, baby, New York knew how to clock in. It was very sensual. She was like, you need a woman that's going to give you peace when you get home. When I tell you New York ate that up, I said, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. The way she held him and she looked at, I said, girl, even if you don't want that man, you are putting on a show that I have to stand, that I have to live for. Rain was talking about her ex-boyfriends and talking about how men have used her in the past. And I immediately said, this is probably gonna be that baby's last week here. There's no way, because she just, yeah. Anyway, Hoops was fine. Here's the thing about Hoops. I do want to say this. Hoops is very beautiful, clearly. The woman is fine. Hoops seems so flat. Like, she has no personality to me. And yeah, now I will say that it's clear, we're still in the first 2 episodes. We still have a long way to go. But Hoops has no personality to me at all. She genuinely is just sort of there. And it's like everyone else at least had something redeeming about them. But Hoops is just like, and I just bless it. Bless it was all I really could say. Apples did a hula. Georgia did feng shui, and he clearly did not like that because he didn't know what feng shui was. Goldie just seemed like she was having a good old-fashioned time. Now, what I didn't appreciate about that was he was like, yeah, I like Goldie because she's country. And I'm like, stop all that shaking because you're going to throw us down the mountain or move us down the mountain or something like that. And I was like, why does everything have to come back to her weight? It just is, I don't know. It just is, it's like, come on now. Why even have her there if you just going to constantly talk about that? Just, my God, just have fun with her, please, for the love of God. Smiley was wiping her makeup off and was like, this is the real me. This is what I'm here for. I'm here for you. And I was like, oh, sweet. I don't know why I was gonna say pimples. I looked at this, and for some reason I thought they said pimples, but it says dimples. She was on roller skates for some god awful reason. Beyonce was probably my favorite, and I'm gonna tell you why Beyonce was my favorite. She tried to hypnotize the man low key. And the thing is, like, she doesn't even seem like she wants to be there. Everyone else was hugging on him, kissing on him. Beyonce was like sitting on, like sitting on the ledge or whatever. And he was like, you know what would really keep me warm is if you were next to me. And she was like, I know. Baby, Beyonce said, let's not go crazy. She said, this is gonna be my house, it's gonna be my money, but you're gonna be a sugar daddy that I don't have to get no sugar to. And I was tickled. Now, Miss Latin was definitely fine. I feel like she's another one that's maybe a little boring, maybe a little stiff. But he was like, she's thick. And I was thinking, okay, so what did she do that impressed you? Because me personally, I would have thought that Smiley, New York, and Goldie would have won. But when he said Miss Latin, I was like, oh, we just doing stuff to do it. Oh, well, hey, everyone has to have their opportunity. But he ends up saying that Smiley, New York, and Miss Latin have won. So they are going to be getting one-on-one dates with Flava Flav. So from here, the story starts to get a little interesting because this is when all the drama starts to really, really start to pop off. So it's about 4 o'clock in the morning, apparently. Now, Flav apparently sleeps in a mansion, which is, I don't know how I feel about that because for some reason I thought he was elsewhere. And knowing that I don't know why that bothered me. It didn't bother me. That's not the right word. But it confused me because I was like, why is he living there? Anyway, that has nothing to do with anything. That, I promise you, that has nothing to do with anything. So New York and Pumpkin are arguing because Pumpkin has called out New York for like the negativity she brings to the group and whatever else. Baby, them folks was going at it. Everybody was just standing there like, oh my God. New York called Pumpkin a joke. It was a mess. So at this point, New York says that Pumpkin needs a facelift and says F you, right? Pumpkin calls New York a transvestite. And there's something that Rain is holding, and Pumpkin is clearly getting ready to like throw it. I don't know if it was a liquid. I don't know if it was, I'm not quite sure what it was, but you could tell she was getting ready to throw it. And I was like, part of me kind of wanted her to throw it because New York would have throttled her. When I tell you New York would have ate her up, and I kind of wanted to see it. I'm not gonna lie. I would like to see it. I would have loved to have seen it. Rain is trying to wrangle in Pumpkin, right? She's trying to stop her. And she's trying to calm her down. Beyonce and somebody else, I think it's Red Oyster, are trying to keep New York together. When I tell you New York pushed Beyonce like you would not believe, I was like, oh my God, baby, Beyonce and Red Oyster were clocked in trying to stop New York from beating that woman's tail. And I really, really wish that they hadn't, but I understand, they had to do what they had to do. And so at this point, Pumpkin goes to go talk to Flav because Flav comes downstairs to see what's happening. So now, of course, Pumpkin has turned on the waterworks. Oh, she's just crying. She's so upset. New York is just everybody's problem. She can't believe it. And bless Flav's heart, he is just absolutely falling for it, hook, line, and sinker. And I'm with New York. I think Pumpkin is just full of crap. I think she is trying to cry so that she can seem like the poor little innocent victim in all of this. And she can get Flav to hold her and tell her that everything is going to be okay. And unfortunately, that's what she gets. And he's telling her, she done put money in your pocket. She done pay your bills. So you shouldn't worry about her and whatever else. And she just, but she's everyone's, like, I was like, girl, please shut up. New York, though, plays it 100% masterfully. She walks by all the crying and the foolishness and the breaking down, and like Flav is kind of looking at her, and she's just like, oh, I'm going to get my cigarettes, Flav. Everything is fine on my end. Baby, When I tell you that New York was the definition of you gonna play chess, guess what? I'm playing checkers. No, reverse that actually. See, got it wrong. She's playing chess and Pumpkin's playing checkers. And so when she goes upstairs, she's kind of, you can tell she's trying to calm herself down, get herself together. She's just like, huh. And when she sees her down there crying and getting hugs and all this and that, she said, I'm gonna get her. She said, I'm gonna get her. She said, I'm gonna get her, baby. And she got her sights set on getting Pumpkin out of there. And you know what? I'm 100% here for it. I really am. Now, here's the other little storyline. Miss Latin calls her ex-boyfriend again, right? He says he's busy, wishes her luck, and then hangs up. This woman is visibly upset. Like she is truly upset. And she goes to talk to the other girls about him. Y'all, why did this woman just break up with this man a week ago? A week prior to coming there, she just broke up with that man. Girl, when they said that, everybody's face was like, huh? Everybody was like, wait, what? You just broke up with him when? Because she was saying they were together for 4 years. And so when she said that, it was kind of the assumption that like, oh, they must have been apart for like 6 months or something like that. Girl, when she said a week, you could have bought everybody in there for $1. For a penny. It was so funny. That woman is playing a game. And she doing that to get back at that man. I don't care what nobody say. So then Apples asks, if he was here right now, who would you choose? Him or Flav? Y'all, why did this woman actually say that she would choose the boyfriend? Girl, the CIA could not have gotten it out of me. I'm sorry. Nobody could have gotten that answer out of me because I'm not finna tell you. I'm not finna tell you that. And we're here and we're competition for each other for this man's affections. And you think that I'm finna tell you why she said it? I don't know. So then Pumpkin is like, oh, I don't want to be a snitch, but Flav needs to know this and the information will get back to him. Okay, so if you're not going to be a snitch, then how's the information going to get back to him? I'm confused. But anyway, child, I'm going to just let Pumpkin and her delusions go because that woman makes my skin crawl. She truly makes me sick. Anyway, so the winners of the, I guess, mini challenge, I really don't know what to call it, but they're giving clothes. So Smiley, Miss Latin in New York, they're giving some clothes. They're told to get ready. So I'm thinking like, okay, where are we going? Because all I see are t-shirts and shorts. So what's happening here? Miss Latin does not seem invested. She does not seem like she wants to be there at all. So Flav comes out looking like oh boy from Monsters Inc. I don't remember which one he was. The big furry one, the big furry blue one. He literally looks just like him. And Sully, I think it was. He looks a mess. He looks a mess. And Smiley up there talking about, oh, he looks good. Purple is the color of royalty. Girl, shut up. Girl, shut up. You cannot want to be on that show that bad. But I guess she does, because there she is. So he tells us that he has taken these women roller skating, right? Girl, he says he's been roller skating since he was a kid. He used to steal roller skates. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I can't figure out why it's a group date. Like, it's not individual. He's not doing anything with them individually to get to know them. They're literally just having to battle it out for his attention, which to me, I don't know. It was a little chaotic. I feel like whoever came up with this show did it in like 3 days. They came up with what this show was going to be in like 3 days and said, okay, here you go. So New York is falling on purpose because she's like, I'm going to get his attention. I'm going to get his attention in this group date, which I can't really blame her for because, I mean, why not? But Flav knows that's what she's doing, and he low-key is living for it because he's like, oh, and I'm not going to lie. The fact that he's, doing it because he knows what she's doing, it's kind of sweet. Like, they actually are a kind of sweet couple. It's watching them do that kind of stuff. It is, I'm not gonna lie, like my heart kind of got warm. I was like, oh, that's so sweet. And then I had to remember, I was like, God, these folks playing the game. But anyway, so he is just as happy with Smiley because he's like, when you took the makeup off, that really showed me who you were. And I was like, okay, all right. If that's all it takes, then for the love of God. Now, what does bother me is that he says that Oh, Smiley. New York also thinks that Smiley is full of crap, and so do I. But anyway, so he sits down and he's talking to them and he's asking them about their previous relationships. And Smiley is telling him about she was married, and then she starts crying because she was like, he looked me in my eyes and told me that I wasn't the one. And he was like, no, that just means that you meant to find your person and whatever else. And New York is just sitting there like, girl, anyway, you sitting there thinking you finna get some little brownie points because you crying, baby. I'm with New York on that one. I feel like Smiley was just cutting up for the sake of cutting up and trying to get, like, I don't want to say that, but I will say that she was just kind of, I'm not going to say she was trying to get attention. I'm not going to say she was trying to get like sympathy, but I will say that I feel like, she maybe turned up the waterworks just a little bit much. Miss Latin just lies and is like, yeah, I was in love, whatever. I had some relationships. And then she just moves on past it. And New York is sitting there like, you just made that up because you be going around crying with this man, crying about this man. And she says, like, he's going to find out. Don't even worry about it. You can tell New York already kind of got a little plan. Baby, then we go back to this house, right? Beyonce pulls Pumpkin to the side. And Beyonce asks Pumpkin if she knows anything about Miss Latin. So Pumpkin just goes ahead and tells her basically everything. She tells her everything that happened, whatever else, right? So then Beyonce goes to talk to Miss Latin and they get into it. Because Miss Latin is like, who are you hearing this from? What does it matter? I don't have a boyfriend. That's the whole big thing. Whatever the case may be. And then Hoops comes out and Hoops shows a little bit of personality for something and is just like, what does it matter? Let's just go eat. But then she walks off and I was like, okay, well, never mind. All right, that's out the window. So then we sit down so we can eat dinner. And baby, this is where it just goes downhill. So at dinner, they start getting into it. And Pumpkin says, you've been going around talking to girls. You've been asking us about da-da-da-da. And Beyonce looks her in the face and is like, I don't know what you're talking about. Baby, when I tell you the way that I hollered, like I got all my life. When Beyonce looked that woman in the face and said, I don't know what you're talking about. I screamed. Now, here's where my problem with Pumpkin comes in. Because Pumpkin is trying to call out the fact that Beyonce is going around trying to get this information and stuff. But you literally said that the information was going to get back to Flav. You just didn't want to be a snitch and you didn't want to be the one to tell it. So I'm confused on how exactly now it's a problem. Because me personally, if I knew that I was not going to tell the information, but I wanted someone else to go, that's the kind of stuff I would be doing. I would just make sure that I gave them as much as I possibly could and just be like, child, that's what I heard or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, Pumpkin is trying to call her out for being fake, but you're the girl. Be for real here. Ma'am, be serious. If you're going to do anything else in this world, please, for the love of God, be serious. So Rain is just talking. She just talking crazy. Then somebody else starts screaming. Is like, ladies, please. I'd just like to eat my dinner for once. And I mean, it's just pure chaos. New York is like, I understand fully because if somebody was talking about me, I would want to know, blah, 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 blah. It's just a mess. And then Goldie out of nowhere is just like, I thought the chicken was lovely. How was your chicken? When I tell you I screamed because I love Goldie so much and I do not understand how this woman did not get her own show. And if she did get it and I just missed it, then dear God in heaven, I need to figure out something to do in life because how I missed it, I'll never know. That is how funny Goldie is. She needs to have her own television program. But baby, Red Oyster is the one who goes and spills the tea to Flav. She is the one who goes to tell Flavor Flav what happened. She's like, so what would you do if you found out? And when she did that, I was like, oh, I was like, baby, Miss Oyster is my girl. That's why I love that lady. She said, what would you do if you found out? And she's like drinking a beer or something like that. Baby, it was iconic. And so she's telling him all of that. And then he was like, yeah, that's something I would take into consideration. Who is it? This woman whispers in his ear, Miss Latin. Girl, I was living for the drama and the mess. But anyway, everybody, as we're getting ready to wind down the deliberation part of the episode, Flav just keeps talking about how a rat is a rat and whatever else. And he says that New York is trying too hard. And I literally gasped. I was like, oh, what you mean, Flav? New York is trying too hard. So at that point, I was like, you better not do nothing about New York. Like, I know she's not going home, but that's not the point. The point is, don't play in my girl's face like that. Okay. We get to the deliberation. Listen, Rain is so nervous because she's saying he knows like nothing about her. And she said that was not the goal of this, right? Smiley is nervous because she started crying and she thinks that he probably is gonna think that she's still in love with her ex-boyfriend. It was so chaotic. It was just so much happening. So Beyonce Beyonce is still talking about all these other women need to go so she can have her money and her man and her mansion. And I'm like, girl, just try to at least pretend like you want to be there. For the love of God, just pretend like you want to be there. And then Pumpkin, oh God, Pumpkin just makes me sick. She's like, Hottie, her outfit is disgusting. I'm a big girl and I would never have my stomach out. And then the camera pans to Hottie's stomach, and I don't know, it just makes me feel whatever that in this house full of women they're all degrading each other based on looks and this and that, calling each other fat or constantly alluding to it, or they're ugly or they look like a man. And it's like, girl, please. But it's a different time. It is a different time. I will admit to you that I got nervous because I want Red Oyster to stay. And the fact that like he kept talking about a rat as a rat, I was like, oh my God. And only 10 of them get to stay. So that was what was making me feel like, wait a minute, what's going to happen? What's about to happen? So Sweetie gets the first clock. And I said, okay. I don't remember who that is, but okay. Then I remember that's the one with the nice booty. Peaches gets a clock. And I literally said, who is this? Peaches and Sirius, when they get clocks, I actually was like, who is this? Who is this? I think Sirius got a clock. Well, I know for sure Peaches did. I was genuinely like, oh my, I was in shock. Anyway, New York hates Beyonce. Beyonce gets a clock, and New York is ready for her to go instantly, right? Rain is mad at New York getting a clock because Rain feels like New York doesn't deserve one because she's fake. This woman got so upset, like she was screaming. Anyway, let me tell you something. The way that I was about to cry. If he had said that Red Oyster needed to leave because she had told him what happened, I was going to actually cry. I was going to cry. Red Oyster is shaking. She is physically shaking. Her eyes are bucked. You can tell she kind of like maybe wants to cry. I don't know. But she looks so nervous. And I was like, oh my God, please let my girl stay. And sure enough, he called her name. And I said, oh, thank God. Oh, thank God, thank God, thank God. But he also calls out Miss Latin and is like, when you leave tonight, it ain't gonna be no hard feelings between us, but you can't stay. He tells her, you're not getting a clock. Don't even worry about it because you're not going to get a clock. Baby, let me tell you something. After after Red Oyster gets her clock, and the women are back there, they having a little kiki. Rain is back there just kikiing, talking out like ain't nothing happened. They back there just having them a good old fashioned time. 5 of these women just got eliminated. She hugs them and says, I hope you're looking you find what you're looking for. And then on her way out, she's like, I'll never talk to Flav again. I will never talk about that. But I met some wonderful people here. I was like, girl, please go seek help. Go find you some help. And y'all, I'm telling you, I'm so tickled at the fact that when the women get eliminated, they change it, their title card changes from their nickname to their real name. It changes back to their real name. I was tickled by that. Baby, this episode gave me it gave me manufactured drama, it gave me real drama, it gave me at least people being attracted to each other, it gave me Goldie, it gave me everything I needed. This episode 2 was everything and then some. Let me tell you this. Red Oyster is my standout. And I'm going to tell you specifically why. Now, I love New York. New York is definitely her own. I think New York is a standout for a different reason. I think she's kind of the standout of the show. But Red Oyster is mine because there is just something so this beautiful chaos about her. It's like she's fully in control of herself, but not in control of herself in the least bit. And there's something that I find so intriguing about her, and I just really want to get to know more about her. And it's funny because I do find her kind of flat, like the rest of it. I feel like a lot of these women do not have good personalities. And by good personalities, I mean they just don't have one. Hoops is gorgeous, no personality. Smiley, gorgeous, no personality. I feel like Goldie, New York, Beyonce, and I'm sure there's somebody else, but I don't forgot them. I'm sure that there's somebody else, but those three specifically are the ones whose personalities I'm just like drawn to. And I know, even if I feel like me in New York would have thrown hands, I still would want to be in her orbit in some shape, form, or fashion. Can't stand Pumpkin. Cannot stand Hoops. Not just because it's something about Hoops. She just seems so. I don't know. It's just some. It's not that I don't like her. It's just I don't know. Hoops is just kind of there for me, and then some of them other people, I literally don't even remember who they are, so I have no opinion of them. But if you told me that we were gonna do, I was gonna say a crowning, like This Is Drag Race, but if you told me like Red Oyster, New York, and Goldie could win at the same time, then I would 100%. I would stand by that. I would say, you know what, this is gonna be a triple win, and I'm here for it. So, listen, I think we are in for quite the ride, okay? And I just want to thank you for taking this quick little moment to come sit with me and talk about our beloved Flavor of Love, Season 1, Episode 2. So, head on over to thepowerofgcommunity.com so you can have a little look-see around and see what's going on. You can find me on TikTok and on YouTube at Real Life with G. And I'm going to see y'all later. I will see y'all next week. I hope y'all have a great rest of the day. Please let me know what you thought of this episode. If you watch the show, let me know what you thought of it. And I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.